everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today I'm going to paint a floral design on this green gloss bottle. So it's going to be hand painted with book art paint. I'm using a combination of multi-surface and enamels. Brushes I'll be using are two number 12 flat brushes by Plaid One Stroke brushes. My dotting stylus, and then my glass art. It's a 10/0 glass art by Dynasty brush. Alright, I've already cleaned the bottle off. It's very important that you clean your glass before you paint on it. Wash it soap and water, and then do rubbing alcohol over the surface just to make sure all the grease, oil, grime, and all that's removed. That will help your paint adhere to the glass better. Paints I will be using today are Hydrangea, Moon Yellow, Licorice, Happy Green, Cerulean Blue, Wicker White, and Thicket. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. This design may take a little bit of time to do. So with the surface being small, I'm hoping that not to be the case because I don't have that much surface to work with. But anyhow, what I'm doing is double loading with the Hydrangea and the Wicker White. I'm not going to be showing you this plate the entire time, but this is the gist of it. You're just basically sticking your brush in one side, sticking your brush in the other side. If you want to tap another color in, you can put it on the side, whichever side you want, and you can do some blending strokes, or you can just go right onto the piece. So for today, I guess I'd have to remember that my surface is a lot smaller than what I was working on for my sample. But I'm going to go ahead and start with this, and I'm just going to be trying not to have too rounded of a petal, but I don't want it to be real thin either. I can come back on here and put some more blue on it. On my sample, I was definitely doing more blending. And like I said, with this project, I'm not sure that I want to do a whole lot of that, and I just made it a little wider. Oh well. I'm going to dip in this side because I definitely want there to be a distinguished lighter side and a darker side. Just so you understand what I'm doing here. Okay, now I'm going to turn on to the next petal, and I'm going to leave some space because I'm going to do another layer, and that's why I'm leaving space. So you can definitely, you're going to do the basic kind of shape of doing the one stroke, but then you're going to actually come in and do some more blending into the actual petal, which is different than actually doing one stroke painting. That's why I say, if you know like your basic shapes of leaves and petals, you know, it's so much easier to paint them without having to draw. And if you're not somebody that can do that, then draw them in. It really doesn't matter. You draw them in. Alright, gonna move here. Now, you also keep in mind too, you can just do this if you want and call it a day. Bring in some of the other color to it if you want, and swing it around. You know, just do the basic one stroke type strokes on here is perfect. but just so you know that it's okay to do some blending. As well. See, like that. Easy peasy, right? So they say. Alright, I think I got this going the wrong direction. I got my paint, so many different paints in my brush now that I'm not seeing what direction it should go in. Now, like I said, I'm ending up making these a little bit rounder than what I had initially hoped to have, but that's okay. It didn't really matter. And I'm just going to throw in some dark, do some blending. Eventually I do want to start showing you how to do techniques with copying your design, because I know, you know, that's a great way too to get some different design ideas, is to take pictures and actually turn them into drawings. It's a great way to do it. Alright, so then I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to start making petals like this. They're going to kind of go over them. I wiggle it a little bit and then bring it in. And then do the same thing as far as the blending. And keep in mind, I like to try to mention this on all my videos, I am a left-handed person. If I'm doing something in a direction that does not feel comfortable to you, that's probably why. So feel free to go the opposite direction. If I'm starting over here and going, you might want to start to the left and go. Whatever feels the most natural to you. Definitely do not have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. And I definitely like for people to put their own, you know, your own twists. What I'm doing is just a sample of how I would do it. If you have a different way that's more comfortable, but maybe you like the design, then do it your way. It's fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And I don't want anybody to ever think that they can't paint just because you're not doing it the same way as somebody else. You know what I find is I do better when I'm not trying to do it exactly the same way as somebody else. I take their basic vision and then put my own twist to it. And that's fine. You're going to do it however you're comfortable. The main thing is that if you need an outlet, if you're creative and you want to be creative, if you're happy with it, that's what matters. You know, please know, you do not have to do what somebody else is doing or the same way. You know, use maybe their design as an inspiration, and then come back in and say, here's but this is what I get out of it, and this is how I would do it. How you're doing it is fine, but this is more comfortable for me. I hope that makes sense. Because I've always thought in art, you know, there's different concepts and such, and I get that. You know, people try to teach you techniques and all that. But then when you put your own little twist on it, I have heard many times people, oh, well, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. I wouldn't do it that way. Well, great. Do it your way, and guess what? I'll do it mine. And we'll meet in the middle. I'm just doing light touches on this when I'm doing the blending, because I do have layers of paint. And guess what? Because I have layers of paint, if you watch my videos, you're going to know the answer to this question. What happens when you have a little bit thicker paint coverage? It's going to be more durable. If you knew that answer, say yes down below. If you didn't, then tell me no. The main problem though is you got to make sure you're not putting it on too thick because you don't want it to bubble when you're baking it. The nice thing about this paint though is if you do a design and you're really kind of thinking, that might be a little thick, guess what? This paint will cure within 21 days fully. And that's all you have to do. You know, then you're done. Okay, so with this flower being so big, on my other project I put 3 of them in on the, not project, but on my sample. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that with this. And you know how I don't like to do even numbers. So that's just my thing. I mean, I think in design there is such a factor with that. But I'm just going to do the one big flower. Now what I could do, and I did not have buds on my, I don't know what this is, I'm seeing the green or the bottle, or if I have something on here, but I'm going to cover it up. I do, for the purpose of my videos, reuse my bottles. So if you're wondering, if you ever see any leftover paint, that's why, because I do reuse. So I'm not actually selling these now. My wine bottles I am going to start selling. And I do want to show you something here. I'm going to make a mess. Alright, so another way of loading your brush is to have 2 paints kind of side by side, but with a space for you to do the blending strokes in between. And what you're doing is you're just kind of picking up a little bit, and then you're going over there and you're blending. That way I have more white on my brush than I do the yellow. And let's see what happens here. Okay, so this is another flower that I'm doing on this design. And I'm basically just pushing down, coming to a point, and pushing it down. I am going to go over it again. Like that. And I'm kind of pulling a little bit of blue in there. Yeah, actually, I'm going to come over it a little bit more, and I'm going to go up into a point and flatten it out. There's a little bit of that there. Now on something like this, you can blend it too, like we did the first one, the big flower. But I'm not going to do that on these. I'm just going to do them like that. I want to make sure that I'm overlapping and bringing it down. On this one, there's really no set number of petals to be using or doing, just for you to obtain the look that you're wanting to get. And I want them to be overlapping. So that's why I'm doing it this way. If my bottle were bigger, I could do more with the design as far as making more of the blue. I personally, my videos seem to be getting long, really long. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't want to lose you guys also in that twist here. So I'm going to put in a couple more of these. And I want them to overlap a little bit if I can, without pulling up too much of the paint, if any. And I didn't say this, but on the blue flower, I did use a mixture of the Wicker White, getting too much blue in this, the Wicker White and excuse me, the Hydrangea and the Cerulean Blue. So there's basically 3 colors in it. And I'm finding I'm getting too much blue into my white right now. This one comes over on the side. Now, if I were painting this bottle as a home decor piece, with this being kind of flat, I could just do one side. If I'm going to do it as a lighted bottle, I would do it all around. It can go any direction. Might even be a great one to use as a night light or a pretty ambiance if you're having people over, maybe in your spare bathroom. I'm telling you, these lighted bottles, especially with the new, I should say new, but the newer kind of way of lighting them is awesome. You don't even have to drill holes in them, which for me, and I someday have this thought of wanting to learn how to use power tools more. I'm not very good at it. Not experienced at it, I should say. Really haven't done it enough to know. But I see on this one I have more petals than I did on the bigger one, and that's fine. Again, I'm giving you the freedom to create and do it however many you can get into it. Alright, for this one then, I'm going to, what am I going to do next? Okay, let me go ahead and dip my little liner brush into my black. And I basically just dip it in and I roll it to get some of the excess paint out of it and kind of thin the brush down a little bit. But I'm going to do these little sprays like this. And I'm just using the liner brush to go like that. Pull little ones out like that. And I keep doing what I said I was doing because that helps keep the brush thin. And come down like that. I don't want to do too many of them because you know how I like my leaves. If you follow me, you'll know. And then I think I'll do one up here, kind of towards the top of the bottle. You just kind of make it swervy or however you want to do it. And then just do the same thing. You see how nicely that flows? I hope you can see what I'm doing. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Alright, so even though I don't like to do 2s or odd numbers, I'm going to on this one. Reason being, I am wanting to put my leaves in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my leaves in, and then I'm going to finish those. I am not cleaning my brush. I'm going to set this one aside. I am not cleaning this brush. I just kind of wipe some of the paint off. I'm dipping it into this, and I can go like this and do the loading like I was showing you before. This is kind of the newer way that the one-stroke brushes are being taught to load. I can tip in some yellow because I do like yellow in my designs for my leaves. I am going to do these leaves a little bit differently. They're the same, but I'm doing them a little bit differently than I did on my practice sheet because I did the dark part on the outside, and I'm going to do the lighter side on the outside so you can see it because the bottle is green. Alright, so here we go. And this is just going to be these easy leaves that we just pull out, go like that, and pull back. Easy, right? If you have a surface where the greens can be seen either way, then it's easier to do a lot of switching the colors around, meaning that I'll make some of the some of the dark on the outside, some of the dark on the inside, some of the dark or the light on the outside, and have the dark on the inside. But using this green bottle makes that a little difficult because then you can't see it as well. Alright, so I'm going to do them here, but I don't want to get onto my black. So I'm going to keep them kind of small. Still the same kind of technique, but just a little smaller. I am, if you notice, I am painting over them twice. That gives them a little bit nicer coverage. And I kept those small. And let's see, let's do a set someplace else here. I'm going to turn it around here and do it. I can make this longer because I have the side part of the bottle, and it does go over a little bit, which is fine. But I'm going to keep it, go over that a little bit. Can go over that white flower a little bit. This. Then I can come back, take the darker green, kind of clean out my brush a little bit. Now with these, because the centers are dark, I'm going to tip in with the lighter color on top. And I'm sorry, my furnace is starting up again. See, very easy. Now, what I'm going to do here is just add in a few little of my little single little one-stroke leaves. Got a little bit on there, but that's okay. And you can put as many or as little. You don't have to do. I'm a leaf person, as I mentioned in most of my videos. If you haven't seen my previous ones, then watch them and you'll see. I can get a little crazy with the leaves, but I like them. So if you're someone who's not really as much into them as I am, then don't put as many. I like them, so I like to do them as fillers. Alright, so my next thing I'm going to do is I want to put, I didn't show this, I'm going to do the clay ball. I didn't have it when I did my practice, but I think it'll make this a little easier. I'm going to take the smaller of the two balls, like that, and I'm going to come in here and put my berries on here. Now, if you feel like these don't show up as well, and they're a little mixed of the Hydrangea and the Cerulean Blue, and I like to put some extra ones on here, just on the gloss itself. And they can be little, small. You can switch over to the other if you want. Well, let me put one here. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same up here. I like these balls for making dots. I don't care what anybody says, because I've had people tell me, oh no, those are, don't use those. That's what I mean. You have to take it upon yourself. I try stuff. I see what people are using and buy a lot of different brushes and different tools and such, because if somebody else is using it, it probably works. Now I'm going to take my stylus and I'm going to finish off the rest of what I'm doing here. Oh, that was the wrong color. Why did I do that? I'm going to dip this into the yellow, and what I'm going to do is just come through here and then just put a little bit of the yellow here. And guess what that does? Just kind of makes it stand out more. I mean, you can get crazy with this and do contrast, do more than just two colors. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stick with the two colors. and I'm just tapping it on, not on the top of the dot, just on the side, because the dots are still dark, they're still wet. So if I did it on top, they may not look as nice. So I'm just kind of hitting the sides and then pulling up. Hitting the sides and pulling up. Still gets the gist. It's right there with it, and it makes them pop more. I could use a contrasting color if I chose to. I wanted to use the yellow to kind of stick in the same theme, but if I wanted to do a contrasting color, that would be perfect. Okay, so there we have that. I'm going to wipe it off. My next step is to go into the black, the licorice, and I'm going to do little dots for these centers here. And I'm just using one color, which is the licorice, for these dots. I can make a combination of big ones, little ones, doesn't really matter. It's kind of fun when you put, vary the sizes, I think. And just do it like that. Put as little or as many as you want. Then to finish off this flower, I'm doing the dots in the center. And I think this becomes a fun center, as if you're looking down at the flower. Alright, so I hope you like this. I think it's beautiful. It's very pretty, and just even the dots being blue with the yellow, they do still stand out. Very simple. That's my intention, to do simple glass painting for beginners. It's perfect. This gives you an opportunity to try it, see if you like it. If you don't, when you're painting on glass, it's so easy just to clear it off, clean it off, and start again. Great practice surface. Another practice surface that's great also, I like to mention often, is wax paper, because it is a slipperier base to paint on. Gives you more feel of painting on glass. Give it a try. Once you're done painting your item, if you're going to bake it, give it at least an hour dry time. Put it in a cold oven. Turn the oven on. Preheat it. Add preheat time to your bake time. My oven takes about 20 minutes, so I add the 20 minutes to the 30-minute bake time that my paint requires at 350 degrees. What I normally recommend, though, is please look at whatever paint you're using. Read the directions. Follow those directions. Some paints you'll find will actually require 24-hour dry time before baking, and bake at a different temperature. So that's why I say, if you're not using the folk art enamels or multi-surface, then please read the directions that your manufacturer provided. Alright, I hope you like this video. If you do, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. New to my channel, hit that subscribe button and notification bell to get notified when I post something new. After you watch this video, you'll see a share button that's underneath the video. Please make sure you hit on that. Share this on your social network with all your family and friends. I would greatly appreciate it. Alright, until the next time, thanks so much for stopping by. You have a good one.